Well. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to what we've called Stereo Graffiti Chit-Chat. It's a weekly 9 o'clock chat with three creative people, three of the people that inspire me and have inspired me in my work. And I thought it'd be a good idea to introduce some wonderful people to you. It's not all about me chatting, so I'll just get my bit done very, very quickly. There is a chat overlay, what we call the overlay. If you want to ask anybody any questions during tonight's show live stream, you can do. You can put something in the comments there, and we'll pick that up. We'll be able to ask those questions on screen, or if you've got anything interesting to say, we would love to hear from you. So please do let us know. Good evening. There you go. Show that it works. A good evening from Mr. Richard Ireson over in Fermanagh. We've got a viewer. Great. There you go. That's a great start, isn't it? We're up and running. Okay. Who've we got then? Well, a little later, we're going to speak to Mike Waldron. Mike Waldron is an artist whose work really has captured my attention during lockdown. We'll be speaking to Mike about art, about whether this sort of lockdown phase of great work is going to turn into an exhibition, and whether or not, how soon he's going to be able to turn fully professional on this. How many paintings does it take to go professional? I want to know. I'm going to ask these wonderful questions. We're also got the very brilliant and wonderful Jess Silk. We're going to chat to Jess in a little while about getting back out there gigging, about some of the comparisons that she's had made to being a female Frank Turner or Billy Bragg. We're going to chat about all that kind of stuff, chat about songwriting in general, and chinwag about a brilliant venue called Katie's down in Stourport, which is where she's from. First up though, I'd like to introduce you to my first very special guest. I can just see him, he's in the green room. Mr. David Rains should be there or thereabouts. Should we say hello to David? I believe David's ready. Hello David, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Darren. Lovely to see you, matey.
Yeah, and you, sir. This is really exciting. The chance to speak to people live and chinwag. David, I wanted to bring you on many years ago when I was ready to give up songwriting and give up on music altogether. I played a gig that you organised in a little place called Bollington, and it was called Mind Body Boogie. Tell us all about what made Mind Body Boogie so special, because it was a very special gig when it was around.
It was rather wonderful. It was 15 years ago now, and it was a mental health project engaging people recovering from mental health problems, with organising a festival, and all of the project, all of the work associated with it, and the auditioning bands and everything was all up to them. Ran it for 3 years, and had some fantastic acts, including your very good self, sir. The first time that we met.
It was. Who else played? Because there was. It surprised me when you told me who else played, because there was a named folk band and a
Show of
quite famous
hands.
rock. Show of Hands. That's who it was. Played in Bollington, and they were not that well known at the time, were they?
Oh, they'd done a big sellout gig at the Albert Hall a few years before that, and they'd played at all the major folk festivals. And Bernie Marsden, of course, guitarist with White Snake, he played as well. And trombone shorty Troy Andrews, who came for the first one the year after Hurricane Katrina. I'd been over in New Orleans just before Hurricane Katrina and seen them in this tiny little bar. And then when Katrina came over, we got an Arts Council grant and got them to come over to England. It was rather amazing. Yeah.
I remember it well. Now during lockdown, and I remember when we thought we were coming out of COVID first time around, and then we didn't. You were one of the very few people. Well, you were one of the last people to put live music events on. You had some events in your garden. We kept live music going in your garden and on your front porch. I recall. What made you do that? Was it madness or just a desire to support the live music community?
Combination, really. The people who had helped us most with Mind, Body and Boogie were the musicians. A lot of the musicians and artists have mental health problems themselves, makes it difficult for them to often hold the conventional kind of jobs. And so my work as a therapist, I've met a lot of musicians as well. So it was our way of trying to put something back in. We were all desperately short of music, and I have a large front garden that's only really been used as a car park. So transforming it into a stage happened just about a year ago. We had 8 gigs with Jim Kirkpatrick, yourself. At one point we had a 5-piece band, keyboards and sax and everything. And it was wonderful. 8 gigs, managing to get some money together for the musicians. And also give the people who were really desperately in need of some kind of socially distanced, safe performance space to come and see musicians. No private venue could afford to put on the kind of things that we were doing, so we all chipped in, and that was how it worked.
I remember, and this is the thing, a great idea. You kind of opened up into your next door's garden as well, didn't you? And there was an audience in the next door's garden, wasn't there, as well?
Bless him, Peter. He's been fantastic all along. My neighbour. He lives on his own, but he allows us to use his garden. So we were able to have 30 people in mine, 30 people in the neighbour's garden, and there's a really nice view between the two. And from being a bit of a magpie, I didn't throw away bits of old marquee that I had from the festival all those years ago, and I had been adapting those to make gazebos and awnings for the band. Given that we live in Manchester, I've got to prepare to be dealing with wet weather. Otherwise, I'm yeah.
Lovely today, isn't it? Going forwards, then, as soon as we come out of lockdown, you're again, aren't you? What have you got lined up for us next, David? Something really good, I do believe.
Well, this very Sunday evening, it's as all of these things have to be at the moment for licensing. It's a private party, but I'm always open to making new friends if a few people want to come. And a very Jim Kirkpatrick, guitarist with FM, phenomenal blues guitarist who played last year. He's coming over, so he'll do a solo acoustic spot first. Then you're going to do a few numbers, and then after that, Jim will be playing with Ollie Collins, a bass player who lives just across the road from us, and Greg Morgan, who lives just a little bit further down the road, a drummer. So we'll have a blues band on Sunday from 6 o'clock.
Brilliant. David, we're going to talk about the NHS gig. Probably get you on a bit nearer the time, because I know you're going to do something for the NHS workers in Bollington and in the area, aren't you? That event's in July. I want to just change tack a little bit. We'll probably come back and do another interview about that, because it's a fascinating event that you've got lined up in July. Matt Hill's asked us a great question here, and I want to pass this on to you. Chicken or egg, David? Do you think creative people are more naturally prone to have mental health problems, or is there something in the uncertainty of creative life that causes mental health problems? Great question, Mr. Therapist.
Yeah, a very good question. Off the top of my head, I don't think that there is something intrinsically within creative people, but I think that we find outlets for our angst, for our emotion, and the arts find one of the most effective ways for us to release our emotion, a cathartic expression, and a way that is legitimized by society. So I think that there's a lot of uncertainty in the creative process, and a lot of creative people experience problems, but I'm not really sure is the answer. I don't know what the statistics say. I don't think there's anything that I read that shows artistic people are more likely to, but people with problems are more likely to use artistic ways to express themselves.
Brilliant. Thanks for
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to once again say, I don't know. It's good for me.
It is. Thanks for the question, Matt. That's great. Best laid plans. Look, David, because we've got 3 guests on tonight, and I want to sort of run around 30 minutes for the full show tonight. I'm going to. Someone's just said that's a great answer, by the way. Matt's replied, great
Thank you,
answer. There
mate.
you go. I'm going to invite you back to tell us about the NHS gig another time. Just to mention then, Jim Kirkpatrick's playing in your garden this Sunday in Bollington. I want to say thanks, David, for calling in. You're a great first guest for us. We're going to play you out with a bit of Jim Kirkpatrick. There we go.
Marvellous.
All right. Take care, buddy. Thank you.
Take care, matey. Bye
This
bye.
is Jim Kirkpatrick, and this is Stereo Graffiti Chit-Chat. Here he is. Fabulous. Mr. Jim Kirkpatrick, and it's going to be my personal pleasure to enjoy his company in person in a little garden in the near Macclesfield village of Bollington this coming Sunday. Our next very special guest is Jess Silk. How are you?
I'm alright, oh.
Great. You're down there in the Midlands, aren't you? Is it Stourport way?
It's near Stourport. Stourbridge is closer.
Stourbridge, Stourport,
Same
Stourbridge.
river.
I got half of it right. I'm gonna read from your Bandcamp here, your Bandcamp page, which is great because there's loads of music available on it, and one of my favourite songs, which I'll tell you about in a minute. It says Jess Silk is a guitarist, singer, and songwriter from the Black Country. Her shouty but melodic brand of folk punk music, often has her being likened to a female Frank Turner or Billy Bragg, and it gets people sitting up and listening. Armed only with an increasingly sticker-covered acoustic guitar and a distinctive gravelly voice that many don't expect, Jess plays to audiences up and down the UK. So, a female Frank Turner or Billy Bragg, is that fair? Are we comfortable with that?
I'm quite happy with that, to be fair. They're both brilliant songwriters. They are, yeah, they're usually the ones that I get compared to if I'm getting compared to anyone. Or more recently, Grace Petrie, or that, well, she was off the X Factor, or one of those things. Lucy Spraggan, I think her name is. But yeah, I'm quite happy with Billy Bragg or Frank Turner. Frank Turner is listening to him was what inspired me to do this kind of folk punk thing, singing about politics and things that mean things rather than the generic love songs that a lot of people seem to churn out. So yeah, I'm happy with that comparison.
Great. I mean, the thing is there is this. I don't know whether you'll agree with this, but do you think there's a stigma being labelled a political songwriter, or is it just one of the things that if you write political songs, you're comfortable with it and you'll take it?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely got more gigs through being called a political songwriter than I've lost because of the same reason. And the ones that I've lost, I probably wouldn't want to play anyway. If
Yeah,
I
yeah.
find myself
I
preaching
get
to the
that.
converted a lot of the time with like the politics, but I just want people to enjoy themselves, and I want to enjoy myself. So yeah.
The thing about songwriting, I mean, I find as well, you tend to write for the audience that comes to see you, don't you, a little bit?
Mm.
I mean, I know I do. I can't speak for you. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Have with there being no audience to play to for a year, have you written different songs or in a different style, or have you stayed true to your style of songwriting previously? Have you changed in any way because of lockdown?
I'm not sure that I have. I suppose because I did a completely self-produced EP, well, two actually last year. And I don't know, it's kind of just getting into the mindset. I've got to do this for me. I don't need to worry about what anyone else is doing because this is what's keeping me sane at the moment. Because I can't go out. I'm stuck at home all the time. So yeah, I don't know. I'll tailor my set depending on where I'm playing. But I don't think I really write for anyone else. I write for me and then just broadcast it.
I think that's a great approach. Yeah, it's brilliant. You've had the pleasure of playing as well, haven't you? Already, you broke out into the real world, didn't you, and did something this week? Is that true?
Yeah. Well, I had I wasn't going. Well, I was going to, and then I got the call to go and have my jab on Tuesday. So my arm was killing me, and I didn't really want to go out. But then my mate called me. He's like, "Oh, do you want to go to this?" I was like, "Oh, go on then." And then I wasn't going to take my guitar, and I thought I was just about to leave. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to end up being miserable if I don't take my guitar. But I'm glad I did. And yeah, we had a nice little. I think there's only like 6 or 7 of us there, all spread around the room like a sing around the room kind of thing, and it was lovely.
Brilliant.
Really enjoyed it.
I'm really pleased, yeah, because I'm going to play in Davy Garden this weekend, and I can't wait. I'm a bit nervous. Before we go any further, I want to give people a little bit of an insight into the sound, the Jess Silk sound, which we all enjoy. This is something.
I forgot you wanted a riot, and they answered the call. Now they're storming the Capitol, and they're dressed for war. They'll make America great again. They'll cheer the land of the free. While those that built Silicon in shade, seats are shining. See, they can see Lady Liberty, and they just watch as she weeps. They'll make America great again. They'll make America great.
Some very powerful imagery there, and it's it's all fairly recent and fresh, isn't it? Those images and Sea to the Shining Sea, it's called. Is that a new one, Jess? Is that recent?
Yeah, well, I wrote that in response to the Capitol riots. I think it was 6th of January around then, because it was just bombarded with all of this news footage. I mean, I don't really watch the news, but on like social media and whatever, it was all you were seeing for a few days, and yeah, I just felt like I had to do that. So when I'm live, I don't quite sound just like that because it's just me and an acoustic guitar. But
Yeah.
I like to think I've still got the same feeling behind it.
Well, I think one of the great, you can't hold your head up as a political songwriter unless you've got some power in what you do, and I think those kind of songs do lend themselves to that strong delivery, and you've got it. I've seen you live. I'm not going to patronise you, but you do deliver it well. We're going to play at the end of the show. We're going to play that full video. Just before we kind of move on, what gig are you looking forward to playing to? Where you playing next? Where we going to see you?
I'm looking forward to all of them. I'm playing my first actual proper on stage gig on Saturday at my mate's pub, just a couple of miles away in Gornal, that I've been looking forward to for ages. I think he's invited 4 or 5 musicians to come and do a short set each. It's going to be wicked. I'm kind of not looking too far ahead because you don't know what's happening, do you? I've not been going out of my way to book anything. I've just been saying yes when people have asked me. But I've got a nice little tour together now. So yeah, we just announced another couple of dates with a band called Headsticks from Stoke, who I absolutely love gigging with. They're my favourite band to gig with. And yeah, so I've got a couple of dates with them in the summer, a few more in the autumn. But I'm just taking it as it comes. I'm just really looking forward to it, getting back out again, seeing people.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'll just put your Bandcamp up there so people can go and have a look. There's a song I particularly love if you want to go and have a look at Jess's Bandcamp. There's a bar at the end of the world, which quite a few of us are singing the phrases. I actually played a little piano version of that at home actually when I first heard it.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, I might treat you to that one day. Jess, look, it's brilliant. Thank you for coming along. Come and tell us all about Katie's on another occasion, will you? Because you've got a great venue down there. Katie Fitzgerald's, isn't it?
Yeah, Katie Fitzgerald's in Stourbridge. My
in
favourite
Stourbridge.
place.
Brilliant. I'd love you to come back on. You can bring a couple of the crew, or maybe we'll live stream into the pub one night and come and say hello to you all down there
Sounds good
when
to
it's
me.
all up and running. That would be great. Look, Jess, thank you very much. Lots of good things to you, and enjoy the return to gigging.
I will do. Nice to see you, man.
Fabulous. Yeah, thank you. Take care, Jess. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Jess Sill, we've got one more guest, and we'll be hopefully running till just after 9:30. So we're not going to keep you all year, which is a great thing for live streaming. We got a brilliant artist called Mike Waldron, who is up in about 30 seconds time. It's my privilege to support the lifeboat crew and services in St David's with a 1 hour live stream live music performance. It's free to you. Please do come and join us. Thank you. And with the wonderment of live streaming and everything, we'll be playing that. I'll be playing that live stream on Sunday morning, my sort of live performance show on Sunday morning. And we're going to be going to the boathouse, the lifeboat house, where the lifeboat crew are, and chatting to a couple of the crew members on Sunday morning live as part of Sunday morning show, which is going to be great. We've got some footage of the boat going out to sea to do a rescue, and we're fundraising for the St David's crew as well. Without further ado, going to introduce our third fabulous guest for this evening. This is Mr. Mike Waldron. Hello, Mike. A little voice check. Hi.
Hi, DP. Nice to see you. Thank you for having me on.
You're very welcome, buddy. It's great to see you. We've not seen each other in person for quite some time.
Indeed.
Your hair's grown since then.
Yeah, lockdown
Yeah.
Maine.
And we've both got thicker glasses. I think that's a standard line with most people I'm meeting at the moment.
Indeed.
Mike, what's happened? I mean, last time I saw you, you were flaunting an acoustic guitar and a CD, and now all of a sudden we've got all this art that you've been producing during lockdown, and it's completely blown me away, man. Tell me what's happened.
I suppose lockdown happened, Darren, and what I was doing professionally for the previous 20 years involved me jumping on a plane, which wasn't good for me carbon footprint, but it was what I loved to do, what I enjoyed doing. Obviously couldn't do that, so I found myself with a creative hole. Also couldn't start doing live music because that creative hole was filled. So my alter ego Frank Pope wasn't gigging, wasn't writing. So I decided to return to what I did originally, but back in the 80s when it all started, which was to paint. And I started just having a bit of a doodle and a bit of a bigger doodle and a bit of a longer doodle, and finally decided actually I was really enjoying this and it was good for me, and it was more than filling a hole, and I could see it maybe being another direction. So yeah, lockdown happened. It was a silver lining to a very deadly and damaging scenario that we face.
Yeah, and I'm just going to show a couple of your artworks here that have caught my attention. Just talk me through them. What's this one?
So this, the eagle-eyed viewer will see that it's actually sitting behind me because I've just had it framed. It's called Remembering Vershinin on the Cobbles. So if you're a fan of Chekhov, and I'm sure you are, DP, it retells the story of Chekhov's three sisters, but it's transmuted to Collyhurst in the 1940s. Perfectly normal, I think. So you have from left to right, Olga, Masha, and Irina, and they're reminiscing about the life that they had when they were girls, when this Roue, Lieutenant Colonel Vershinin, was in their lives. But in this case, it's in Collyhurst in the 1940s.
Great stuff. And I mean, I know very little about art. What are your materials that you use? Is it oil based or?
Well, first of all, I'm going to take issue with your DP there and say that everybody knows about art because it's really about your relationship with what you like. But technically, maybe you know less technically than you'd like to. It uses a really ancient technique. It's using acrylic paints, which is just like oil paints, but they use water instead of oil to help them dry. So they dry much more quickly. but it uses a really old technique called scumble and glaze, which I know sounds like, you know, that Pink Floyd album that never got made. Scumble and glaze means that you paint the picture and then you completely obliterate it with opaque white, and then you paint it again, and then you might do it again. So there's probably 3 or 4 pictures on there before the eventual picture emerges. So it gives a lot of depth and a lot of vividity to the colour.
And is that a technique in this second picture?
That technique isn't in this second picture. So this picture is called the Last Dream of Pagliacci, and those that like listening to opera might know. And this is how I discovered the story of Pagliacci. It's quite a dark story, quite a gothic story, and this is really, I suppose, depicting a guy who's probably done something, and it's not spoiler, but this is a guy who's done something that he shouldn't have done, and he's washed up on a beach with the accoutrements of life, and he's in a dream. He's in a bit of a reverie, but he's in a massive amount of space. So this was almost a little illustration. This canvas is actually very big. It's like 4 foot by 3 foot. It's almost like a little illustration in front of this, in the midst of this huge space, whichever way you would go. But I chose, because I've been working on a lot of big seascapes, looking out to sea. I was tracking a storm in the west of Ireland, did 6 paintings tracking that storm. I thought, actually, I'll do a picture from on a boat in the sea, and what am I seeing? And this really is what I was seeing.
Great. I'm going to just show you a couple of comments there which are coming through. Thank you for all your comments tonight. It's lovely to see people's comments and to be able to show you those.
Matt.
Great stuff. Yeah, and whilst we're talking about your artwork, I pulled 3 pieces out, you know, for viewing. Just give us a quick chat through that one, because there's something going on there.
This one, again, it's a large painting. This is called I Will Never Let You Go. And it's for the, you know, I think all painting for me is a relationship between the person that's made it and then the person that's viewing it. In the same way with music, DP, it's, you know, you write the song, but there was a relationship that the person that's listening to it live or listening to it on online can have with that painting. So different people will have a relationship with this painting. Is it a mother and daughter? Are they siblings? Is this an older version of a younger person? Is it 2 sides of the same person's character? The important thing in this is that there's a tiny thread that joins the 2 between the big toe of the younger woman who's either jumping, floating, or swinging from the light fitting, and the rather cool, aloof person who's in her theatre of one spectator and holding that cord by one finger. You know, how connected are they? I don't know. It's for you to decide.
It is. I totally get that. Yeah, you know, and I know that, you know, 2 people can look at the same photo and see 2 completely different things sometimes, can't they? Tell me, this transition to an artist. I mean, are you going to be able to exhibit? Are you going to have an exhibition? Have you got enough work for an exhibition? Is that part of your plans?
Yeah, I've probably got too much work for an exhibition. I called in and see a friend of mine today, who's got she's got a pop-up exhibition, and I thought it's fantastic. I'm working at quite a large scale, as well as doing some small pictures. There's more than enough work for an exhibition. But what I've found is that exhibiting online means that people from all over the world are accessing the work and buying the work, which is a good thing, but also being appreciative of the work and being able to see it. And every artist, and I'm not really an artist, I'm a painter, but every painter, everyone who makes marks wants other people to see it. And that gives me an opportunity for other people to see it. If the opportunity comes along to put on a show or to have some of my work in a place that works for that, that's great. But if not, I'd rather people were able to see it however they can see it.
Yeah, and the internet's great for this, isn't it? You know, I mean, in musical terms, I know many people say to me, "Oh, you know, there's no money in music anymore." But when I first started writing songs, they got no further than the 237 bus out of Tintwhistle, you know,
Yeah.
and then they went home again.
And I know that bus.
Yeah, and then my songs went home again half an hour before last orders because there wasn't a later bus, you know. But now,
I think the only thing, Darren, is that with a painting, it's a physical object, and it has that dimension to it. So sometimes, you know, I went to an exhibition today for the first time in more than a year. Went to Manchester Art Gallery and stood alongside some of those paintings in their old Victorian frames, like they were old friends. And there's something about that tangible quality of being next to a painting, being with a painting like the one behind me. There's a physicality to it. It's not just an image. It's a physical thing.
I want to ask you one important question that takes us right back to the beginning, and the therapeutic value of music and art. David was asked a great question by Matt earlier on, which you probably heard. I mean, in terms of art, do you feel that art and painting, is it therapeutic? Is it something that you think you needed to do for your own mental health, or is it something that it's not mental health related? It's not therapeutic. It's just something you do, and that's it. I mean, is there a therapeutic value to art, to painting?
Yeah, I mean, for me, massively. I think I didn't know that I needed to do it. I thought I wanted to do it, and I did want to do it, but now I needed to do it. So whether I've become addicted to painting, addicted to making marks, I don't know. But it has become, if not an obsession, it's become a real creative drive. It's filling a hole that I didn't know was there. So yeah, I mean, I'm surfing on a wave of it actually, DP, and I think it's something that I have to do, and I have to just go with the flow sometimes and wait for the next thing. It's always a pleasure to wake up and think, what am I going to do today?
Yeah. Have you got how many? One last question for you, because I promised we'd take this to about half an hour tonight.
Yeah.
How many pieces of how many works of art have you got in the making at the moment? Is there 2 or 3 on the go, 1 on the go, 4 on the go?
There are 5 on the go, but they're all very different. One is a really large psychological piece. One is a rather large, even larger, almost wall-sized landscape. And then I'm doing three very small paintings, which are to challenge myself to try and work in a way that I've never worked before. So yeah, I've always got more than one on the go, and that's for practical reasons. That if you're using paint, if you're like me, you squeeze all the paint out, and you realize that you've squeezed out too much paint, and you think, right, I want to go and get some tea now, and I've got a lot of paint that I don't want to waste, so you start another painting, and then you can never stop. So it's a bit like chain painting.
Yeah, great. Mike, I'll just put your Instagram up there, so that people can come and find your Instagram. And you also have a website, Mike Waldron.
Yeah, there's also a website, a whole bunch of paintings up there. What's on there, some of which is no longer available for people to get hold of, but they can still see the image. And some of it is available for people if they want to make it a new home. They can. But if people want to just look, they could. It's all on there chronologically, by and large, so people can see my journey over the last 15 months from just starting out and scrolling, and how I became a bit more confident in making marks, using lots more colour.
Great. Mike, I want to say a big thank you. Please, I hope you come back when you do get an exhibition together. I hope you'll come back and promote it with us. Come and tell us about it and give us all an invitation.
It would be a pleasure. Thanks, DP.
Yeah. All
Thanks
right,
for having
brilliant.
me on.
Mike Waldron, thank you very much. Brilliant. Superb. Okay, there we go. I promised that we'd take this to about half an hour tonight, and we've managed it, haven't we? I hope you've enjoyed our 3 guests this evening. Our 3 guests this evening were David Rains. And David, if you want to know, we're going to bring him back to talk about his NHS event, which he's running later, probably June, July time. We'll probably speak to David about that. If you want to Google Bollington Picnic, you'll find out what David Rains is organising to support the NHS. Jess Silk, who you met earlier on, Jess, you can find her on Bandcamp, jesssilk.bandcamp.com, and Mike Waldron, who you've just met there, Mike Waldron art.co.uk is his website. Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. We're going to do this every Thursday. We'll have 3 different guests for you next week, which we'll look forward to. And if the technical all goes absolutely to plan, we should have for you now a song and a video to play you out. Jess Silk and the full video of Sea to Shining Sea. Enjoy. We'll see you all next Thursday, if not before. Thank you. yeah, sorry, it was all going so well, wasn't it? We had the sound and everything, and then I lost it. There you go. I'll tell you what. Do me a favour. Go and watch the video. We'll play you the snip of it again. A little bit of Jess Silk, and you can go and find the full video at Bandcamp. Okay, thank you very much for watching. We'll leave you a little bit of Jess Silk to take us home. Thank you very much.
I forgot you wanted a riot, and they answered the call. Now they're storming the Capitol, and they're dressed for war. They'll make America great again. They'll cheer the land of the free. Follows a built silicon in shape, seats are shining. See, they can see Lady Liberty, and they just watch as she weeps. They'll make America great again. They'll make America great. Dressed up in